I'm on a mission to find the best linear campaigns of all time. In an era of gaming where every release seems to feature an expansive open world with hundreds of hours worth of content, it's normal to feel a little overwhelmed. But great games aren't just defined by scale. Some of the best games I've ever played have been hyper-focused experiences that leave a more memorable impact in 10 hours than most games do in 100. One of these games and the topic of this video is Titanfall 2, which might just be the greatest first-person shooter campaign ever made. Not because it has the most groundbreaking mechanics, graphics, or any other random feature that games are so typically judged by, but because it understands something that most other shooters don't. A great game is remembered by how it makes players feel. In my mind, to earn the title of the best linear campaign of all time, a game has to excel in these 4 areas: the story, the gameplay, the world design, and some memorable moments. Since Titanfall was released back in 2016, it's grown a worldwide appreciation for its fast-paced, smooth gameplay and attained an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam. You play as Jack Cooper, a rifleman from the Frontier Militia who bonds with his mentor's mechanical titan after his mentor is killed in action. From this point on, you become an acting pilot, one of the most prestigious ranks in the militia. You also adopt the previous mission to stop the Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation from using a super weapon to destroy the planet Harmony, where your malicious base is located. The campaign comprises of 10 chapters which take around 6 hours to complete, definitely on the shorter side, and even when taking your time to find all the collectibles and get all the achievements, you'd be lucky to surpass 10 hours. But despite its relatively short duration, Titanfall 2 manages to deliver one of the most enjoyable campaign experiences that I've ever had. The gameplay is really separated by 2 possible conditions: playing as a pilot and playing as a pilot whilst controlling a titan. Whilst on foot, you'll spend your time sliding, wall running and double jumping through the world whilst mowing down any infantry that you encounter. The movement as a pilot is undoubtedly the most attractive feature of the entire game for me. The fact that modern games can't replicate the fluidity of this movement is absolutely shocking to me. Titanfall 2 was definitely ahead of its time in my opinion, and I feel like we need to bring some of this movement back. During the prologue, you're introduced to a trial scenario where you'll receive a recommended difficulty setting based on your completion time. You might have seen similar things in games like Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and even though these are meant to be an indicator of the difficulty, I spent around an hour in this prologue alone just trying to master the movement mechanics and improve my score over and over again, completely lost in the challenge and enjoyment of it. The flip side of the gameplay comes when you're controlling a Titan. The pace is completely slowed, but not in a negative way. It feels more powerful and less fragile than when you're playing as a pilot. Throughout the game, you'll gain access to a variety of different loadouts for your Titan that you can access and switch to at any point, giving you the freedom to choose how you approach each scenario as they present themselves, but in a totally different way from what you do as a pilot. Each loadout consists of different combinations of primary weapons, ordnance abilities, tactical abilities, defensive abilities and core abilities, which need charged over time but release a ridiculous amount of damage. Despite being much slower than pilots relative to their size, Titans still have a reasonable maneuverability through multi-directional dashes that completely voids any sort of displeasure caused by the clunkier movement. Now, the gameplay and movement is one thing, but it doesn't mean an awful lot if the world design isn't very good. However, this is not the case with Titanfall 2. The world design here is absolutely incredible. It's so rare that you find yourself playing a game with such a variety in style between chapters that doesn't damage the consistency of the story. In Titanfall 2, you'll travel through rainforests, research facilities, factories, inside and in top of spaceships, all without it feeling forced. Naturally, you'll spend most of your time as a pilot inside close quarter environments, and your time controlling a Titan in more open spaces with an assortment of boulders and structures to use as cover. And despite being a linear campaign, there's also the freedom to approach these environments however you like, with each possible route or tactic offering its own benefit and drawback at any given time. At points you'll be able to interact with the environment, whether it's just simply repositioning a wall to create a flanking route, or more complex time travelling between the present day and the past at the click of a button. This all adds something to the experience without overcomplicating it at any point. Thinking back to memorable moments, normally with a story-focused game like this one, I'd be searching for a segment in the campaign that shocked or inspired me in some way. But with Titanfall 2, honestly, there wasn't a standout moment. When I think back to my experience with the game, I just remember how much I thoroughly enjoyed it, genuinely from the very start to the bitter end. I guess you could infer from this statement that the story wasn't very good, but I actually thought it was reasonably good. Of course, with any game there's areas for improvement, and I could talk about how the textures can be inconsistent at times, or that the hardest difficulty isn't actually that hard, but these are all so minor when compared to the experience that Titanfall 2 delivers that it feels pointless to even mention them. Since Titanfall 2 marks the first game covered in this series, it automatically claims a space in the top 10 linear campaigns by default. But now having played it, it's easy to see why it's grown such an impressive reputation in the gaming community since its release. If you've played Titanfall 2, let me know what you thought, or let me know what you think I should play next on my mission to find the best linear campaign of all time. As always, if you enjoyed the video, click like and consider subscribing to see more content like this.